Mixon got hairy nuts. So Ace Boogie, I've been seeing you. Hey Rob, I have not. Jay here. So
Bro,
what's up,
good,
Ace
bro?
Boogie? How you doing, bro?
I'm doing horrible right now, man. We just got our ass whooped by the Browns, bro. The
Where you Where
Cleveland
do you
Browns.
live at?
I live in Orlando, Florida, bro, but I'm from the Natty though. I lived in the Natty from childbirth all the way up to high school. And then for college I came down and moved to Florida. But bro, I can't even remember a time other than Derek Anderson where we have lost to the Browns. Like, the thing that's crazy to me, I'm definitely with you on Andy getting out of here. I'm with Marvin getting out of here. I have never in my life witnessed the Browns talking trash to us. And not only do they talk trash to us and say they're going to beat our ass, they beat our ass. Like, this is never like, bruh, that was the boiling point to me. Like, I can deal with losing to the Ravens with Lamar Jackson, which I figured we would. I can deal with losing to the Steelers, but not the Browns, bruh. Not the Browns. We can't be going out like this. And to me, like, of course, I wasn't surprised that we cut Marvin, but, bruh, they got to cut the head off the snake. You got to cut him out of there if you want Andy Dalton to get out of there. Because as long as Marvin is this coach, he going to keep throwing him out there. And I can't
How do you
stand
feel?
that.
Like, look, hey, Ace, how do you feel about this? Is one thing that I was telling people earlier. I don't know if you was there at the very beginning. I said it's a lot of empathy for Marvin Lewis because of the 7 playoffs and
That's
a lot
real.
of different things that he's done for the organization, right?
That's real.
Right. In contrast, right, where I live at, I don't know if it's because the Redskins had so much success. They had that Super Bowl in '92, all these different things going around. Right. I don't give a shit when it was Deion Sanders, when it was anybody you could think of, Albert Hainsworth, all these big guys, Kirk Cousins, who I think is better than Dalton. When I tell you, you go outside, when you go to the store, bums are outside with signs. When I go to past any of that, back past the stadium, you cut on the radio, hammer, RG3, get him out of here, gone. I'm like, damn, RG3 won Rookie of the Year. He ain't get him out of here, fuck him. We don't need him. They will run you the fuck out of town. And I've got a lot of people today that said Marvin Lewis should go to the front office, and I'm like, I'm kind of like how you are. I don't want him involved with the front office. I don't want him involved. I don't want him. I mean, I'm not speaking for you. I'm sorry, I misspoke. When you say cut the head off or whatever, I'm saying I don't want him to do any. I want a clean slate. I don't want his imprint on shit. And that would just make the players, I feel a lot like, because moving him to the front office would just make players feel like, oh well, Marvin's still like, they still gonna be feeling his presence. Right.
I'm with you on that. I think we completely need to get rid of Marvin. I grew up a young Bengals fan. I watched them before Marvin Lewis got there. I watched them when he got there. He did good things for us. But the time is now to move on. Like, this is going into possibly the 3rd season where we've had a losing season. It's been an excuse after every excuse. There's nothing that changes. This defense completely has given up on him. There was no effort out there. This team, the whole message that he keeps giving is stale. Nobody wants to hear that anymore. And I agree with you. You can't keep him in the front office, because if you keep him there, he's going to be in Duke Tobin's ear, and he's going to tell them that we need to keep Dalton. He's going to tell them that we don't need to draft another quarterback. I don't like Mike Brown, but at least Mike Brown was smart enough to want to draft Colin Kaepernick over Andy Dalton. And Marvin Lewis and Jay Gruden argued against drafting Dalton, or not against, but for drafting Dalton. That's cool. But I think this team just needs a fresh start. But to me, I will say this. You talk about DC and all of that. The first time that I've seen Bengals fans stand up and not, like, take that shit, like you said with RG3, was Carson Palmer. We TP'd the hell out of his house. We was ready to, like, I was one of the few, bro, and we didn't have Instagram or any of that, but I swear to God, I used to be down in Tallahassee at the bar with a couple Bengals fans. In 2009, I wanted Carson gone. Carson was throwing hella interceptions. He was taking up a lot of our salary cap. We basically were handicapped to him or handcuffed to him, just like we are right now with Andy Dalton. To me, it needs to start there. You need to go out and get a better quarterback. Like you said, you need to at least try to get an elite quarterback that can come in here and do something. Because I'm to the point now where it's like, when Carson Palmer was like, I'm out of here, I want to be entitled and all of this, Mike Brown is wrong. It was like cool, but I didn't respect him. But if you do the same thing to AJ Green, bro, I can't respect this organization, point blank, period. AJ Green is the most humble dude. He's put up with a lot. He's invested in this franchise, knowing that we came from a franchise that was laughed about in the league. They talked about our owner. TJ Houshmandzadeh talked about we ain't even get our players Gatorade. And you had a dude who came in here when you're used to guys that used to shit on us like Corey Dillon. It recently got better. But before that, Corey Dillon was talking about he'd rather flip burgers at McDonald's than play for the Bengals. I lived through them years. I was there with Achilles Smith. I was there with Gus Frerotte. Andy Dalton, to me, is not the answer, bro. And I said this, I don't know if I said it on here, but I said this weeks ago when AJ Green was out. I said our offense is finna die and we're going to lose all of these games because he's only as good as AJ Green makes him look.
Yep.
Like you said, you and me both, bro. I wanted Lamar Jackson too, and it was crazy. And that's when I low-key, like, just started to kind of give up on us getting a better quarterback is when they passed on Lamar Jackson. Because it's always been a situation. Before that, I felt like it was Teddy Bridgewater. It's always been that situation where we're in that 17 to 20 range where you can't get that quarterback.
Right. Hey, hold on. But look, even like, think about this. Teddy Bridgewater was to be had right before the deadline, like for minimal shit. When we talking about quarterbacks, to me,
that's what
like you give up. You give up big shit for the most important position, whether it be a backup or a starter. You could have got Teddy Bridgewater off of the Saints, bro, and that shit's so crazy to me. Or you could, or even think about this: you could have RG3. He was to be had. Like, and that doesn't excite people. But say Dalton goes out with an injury, which he did. Then you're not sitting here having these conversations of, well, Jess Driscoll's never had an NFL start. What y'all think he gonna do? Like, this shit not rocket science. You could have gave up a third and like a second for Bridgewater. And to put that in the context, what did a third get you this year? A fucking dude that you won't even put on the fucking field.
Right. Bro,
so when people be talking about giving up picks, and they're like, I wouldn't give up this, I wouldn't give up that. I didn't like the Amari Cooper drink, right? But we talked about this 2 weeks on the drink. If the job, and the Patriots don't give a fuck about picks. Like, don't care about the draft. They will let the NFL draft everybody for them. They let us draft Burkhead. They let us draft all these players, like, for them. Amari Cooper, everybody laugh and say he's not first round talent or whatever, right? And he comes in and he's scorching shit. But the one thing that you knew from Amari Cooper is he had the talent of a first rounder. He just didn't have the production. And if you already know that he has the talent for a first round based off of what you've seen when he was borderline Pro Bowl with the Raiders and then he had another bad season or whatever after that, then what the fuck are you drafting for if the guy that you think can help you is right there? And then the way I live in my life is if I make a decision and say that shit don't pan out, like Malik Jefferson appears to not be panning out, I'm not going to sit there and say, God damn, I wish I would have had that third round pick back. I would give up a second for Teddy Bridgewater right before the thing, a player, whatever the fuck they want. I give up a couple picks just to have a legit backup. And people be like, well, you don't just give up that. Like, why not? Because I'm sitting here at 5 and 6, and I'm looking like, fuck. Why don't I have Teddy Bridgewater? Why don't I got RG3? Why don't I have a known commodity? Or anytime that Dalton has a shitty-ass game, how come I don't have a known commodity that's ready to go in?
I can tell you right now, it's because of Marvin Lewis and this damn organization and how they coddle Andy Dalton. That's why. It's not because you wouldn't have a good backup in Teddy Bridgewater. It's because they know if Teddy Bridgewater was here, he would be a threat to Andy Dalton's job. And they showed us that with A.J. McCarron. I don't understand how the man almost got you a damn playoff win, got closer than Andy Dalton has ever gotten in his career, and you won't even throw the man in? Of course he wants to leave and join the Bills. You won't even let him start over Andy Dalton. Like, come on, man. It's just, I don't, like, that's why my faith gets rattled with them, because I know with Marvin Lewis there, they're going to keep doing the same things. They're going to keep the same players out there. Just like we haven't drafted a linebacker forever. How many times are we going to pick these dudes? Like, I like Malik Jefferson, but how many times are we going to do the whole Paul Dawson thing again? Paul Dawson was a hell of a linebacker. He could never get on the field. Why? Because they won't play him. They do the same with Malik Jefferson. They won't take obvious needs they need in the draft.
And look at this shit, though. Jordan Evans and Hardy Nickerson are absolutely ruining your linebacker core. You could even argue Burfict is hurting us just as bad.
Burfict definitely is right now. He's out of shape. But that's Marvin Lewis.
It's two different things. It's Burfict's hip. If you watch him, if anybody watched the game when I'm watching it, he's laboring his left hip every single play. He's limping off. He's gimpy with his left hip every single fucking play. And then he doesn't want to lose money. He does not want to get fined for shit. He's lost way too much money. He already has a contract that has some guaranteed figures into it. So why would he risk that?
And that's one thing. Like, people, I've seen a lot of people.
Why can't Malik Jefferson think about the Lamar Jackson game? Think about this. The one thing that Malik Jefferson did when I watch any game, all you college fans are there. I know I got some Texas, some Longhorn fans in here. The one thing that Malik Jefferson does is fucking spy quarterbacks.
Right. But you're going to put Hardy Nickerson. But you're going to put the most unathletic player on the most athletic player.
All he had to do was fucking spy on the guy for a whole game, and that's it.
I almost fell out my seat when I saw that they had Hardy Nickerson spying Lamar Jackson. You got the most unathletic player on the team spying Lamar Jackson. That was the stupidest, bruh. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. And the thing that kills me about Marv is he'll sit up here in these press conferences and sit up on his little high horse like, oh, no, Auden Tate isn't better than Cody Core. You don't know more than me because I've coached in the NFL for 15 years. Like, dude, you wrong. And you've been wrong hella times.
Do y'all know that I had a chance to go to like one of those presses, and I think I'm professional enough. I think I'm mature enough to do it. And 2 hours before, I said, bro, I can't even go in that shit because I just know this motherfucker's got this smirk on his goddamn face as though he's done something for me or us.
Right.
And it hurts my feelings. Because I got all these people, I got all these young dudes that are counting on. They want to believe in shit. I don't want them to end up like the people that came above me. My uncle is the biggest Bengals fan I ever met in my life. He is like, he won't even really watch Bengals games like that. I don't want these motherfuckers to end up like that. And I got this fucking piece of shit smiling like he's Bill Belichick at a fucking press conference, and you ain't won a fucking playoff game.
And then has the nerve when these reporters ask him questions that they should ask to catch an attitude with him. Like, bruh, I was down here and I ran into this old man at the Publix down here, and dude was like, and I had my Bengals jersey on. Dude was like, I'm dumber than you. And I'm like, why? He was like, because I'm still a Bengals fan. This dude was like 60 years old, mad as hell. And we already, like, that's just how it is with this damn team, man. Like, I don't know what it is, bro, but until we cut the head off the snake, then the rest is going to go. Number one, like we said, Marvin needs to go. Andy needs to go. You need to bring in a new culture before you start wasting guys that are future Hall of Famers like Geno Atkins, like A.J. Green, the Carlos Dunlaps. I don't know. He's kind of a fringe Hall of Famer. He's not really a Hall of Famer. But these are guys that would never want to play for the Bengals back in the day. These dudes would never want to play for the Bengals back in the day, and you created a culture where they actually want to stay here and be a part of this organization, and you're holding them all back because you won't move on from Andy Dalton. And like you said, you spit straight facts on here. The NFL this year has changed into a league where you have to have an elite or good or great quarterback. You have to have a good offensive coordinator. you have to have some edge rushers, and that's what it is. If you can't put up 30 points per game, like you said, you taking L's every
You got to score. Look at the scores.
Seahawks,
is anybody in this chat right now just run off the scores on the games that we lost? Look how many points we scored. They're all games that you failed to score 28. If you score 28, you in that shit.
Right.
Like you in it. Hey, but Ace, hold on. I can come back to you. I gotta get to a couple people. I gotta talk to somebody really quick.
Yeah.
Cause this young